Right, hello YouTube, we're back at it again with another video. So today we're going to talk about IndyCar race this weekend here at St. Petersburg, the truck race, which will also be at St. Pete, and NASCAR at COTA. We'll get into some highlights of these races, especially the St. Petersburg race, and we'll take a look at the paint schemes this weekend at COTA, which will be pretty interesting to look at. So obviously last year we saw Alex Palou win. Um, just the guy you got to watch out for this year. He's a little too dominant. Chip Ganassi's looking great. Penske's also that team you got to watch out for. But as you can see, last year they didn't start doing too hot until the end of the year. Um, with that being said, is this going to be a boring race? Most likely. Do I think Alex Palou is going to win it? Most likely. If these other guys like Joseph Newgarden and Pato Award, all these other guys who's wanting to compete for a title, want to win, they're going to have to step it up a lot, dude. And if they can't, they're not going to be able to compete with Palou. He's just, you know, he's up there, dude. Scott Dixon, he has 6 championships. And I I don't know. I honestly don't know if he's going to get 7 before Palou does. Palou's at 4. 5 could be this year. And, he's got a little bit of time left here in IndyCar. uh, Pretty sure Scott Dixon's 45 years old. Palou's like 33, 34. Got plenty of time to get those championships in. He might be, the guy IndyCar. He might be the GOAT of IndyCar by the end of this. It took him this long to win the Indy 500. Do I think he can get some more in there to solidify that GOATness? Most likely. We obviously all know he's a road course driver, but he can show up on ovals. He had some wins at Iowa last a couple of years ago, and obviously winning the Indy 500 last year. And he can stay. He could definitely pull off some more Indy 500 wins. And if he can get 3 more championships to his name, there's no doubt that he will be the guy in IndyCar. But he already is that guy right now. But just overall. So let's take a look at these overall performances at St. Pete over the years, and we can kind of get an idea of who's going to finish where and who's expected to perform. But the guy I'm looking at is obviously Alex Palou. He started in 8th place last year. He's not been too successful on this track, but if this says anything about what he's been doing, he's just becoming more and more and more and more and more dominant. So if he can come out here, start off the gates like he did last season, if he wins these first 2 races, you can just call it wraps. It's his. It's his season again. But we also see Scott McLaughlin. He's pretty successful at this track. Also, we have Will Power. He's struggled the past few years, as you can see, but not getting a win there. He starts off pretty good, but he's anybody can win an IndyCar. It's different than F1 because these cars are similar. So it's really off driver's skill. And, the driver's skill and, knowledge of this track really matters. And with people like Joseph Newgarden and Scott McLaughlin on here, it's still gonna be a good race. But if Alex Palou just continues his dominance, dude, it's going to be like Max Verstappen a few years ago in F1, and 8 wins last year. Who knows how many wins he can get this year with 18 races on the calendar? Could he get 9 wins, win half the season? That's unheard of in IndyCar, dude. Because like I've said, these cars are similar. It doesn't matter about the engine; it matters more about the driver. It's like NASCAR, dude. You're not going to have somebody winning over half the races and just it's crazy. It'd be so crazy if he does that. But yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to. The drivers to watch out for this weekend is obviously going to be Alex Palou. Pato Award's another one I want to look out for. He didn't do so hot last year, all right? But that doesn't mean anything. Look at 2024. He's, past few years, other than last year, he's been up there and running in the top 3. But, his first start there in 2020, and we see 21 and 22 not so hot. I think that after last year, he's going to get the hang of it. Do I think he's going to win? No, possibly a podium position, but we'll see. But those are the guys I want y'all to watch out for this weekend if y'all tune in to IndyCar. So let's head on over to NASCAR, where I have a little bit more knowledge. I'm still learning IndyCar, dude. I've watched IndyCar a while. It's just, you know, under overshadowed by NASCAR and F1. So it's, kind of hard. And plus, IndyCar doesn't really provide that much content, dude. So everything that you get to know about IndyCar, it's like you have to dive in for yourself. And as you can see from their website, compared to F1, they don't offer the statistics, the analytics that F1 has to offer. And that's where I feel like they're missing. IndyCar has so much to offer. They race on a way more diverse schedule than F1. Uh, there's more history, in my opinion, than F1, just because of the Indy 500 and how long it's been around longer than F1. And, if IndyCar can, do something to make it better, and make it more noticeable, which I think this IndyCar game with iRacing will do. IndyCar can do something spectacular here in the United States. Capitalize off where F1's trying to gain here in the United States and keep IndyCar as America's premier open wheel racing series. IndyCar, it's not going to compete internationally due to F1, but with this new regulation system that everybody seems to strongly dislike in F1, it could have the potential to grow where, you know, people of fully combustion engines favor, IndyCar over F1, and they can potentially capitalize off that with, F1 essentially being a glorified Formula E. Now, after all that, let's dive into NASCAR. I know y'all hearing me yap about something I don't know that much about. But we see this weekend we have a pretty solid schedule. Another Saturday race with the Xfinity and truck, O'Reilly's and truck. It's going to get so hard to, used to saying O'Reilly's after years and years of saying Xfinity. Similar with the Chase. So let's get over here looking at entry lists. I don't think anybody too spectacular will be racing any other than, the regular guys. Yeah. Pretty much just the regular guys. It looks like we have maybe one entrance. Yeah, Jesse Love's running it. Okay, I did not notice that. Rocking C4 Energy. Yeah, let's see. What are the odds on SVG to win? Chase Seabell last year's winners plus 900. Connor Zilic at SVG is going to have significantly higher. Yeah, plus 120 for SVG, plus 350 for Zilic. You know, I might throw a little bucks on it. Throw a little bucks on the S. We took a look at the standings last week. Go way over here to the trucks, man. I'm so used to using the app, dude. So that's like where I'm struggling a little bit. It's gonna be an interesting race, though. Went to the IndyCar website, bro. I just want to see, how you'd see it on the website, but you really can't. But anyways, who I think is going to win the truck race? It's going to be tough because a lot of these drivers, they're coming from, short track race in ARCA where they really don't race on road that much. I was really trying to see the entry list for the trucks this weekend. But that Andretti name really, you know, is pulling for me with this truck race. But it'll line up. There we go. Maybe. Maybe. No. Ah. Okay, this is not working well. It's not working how I expected. But anyways, uh, yeah, I really think I really don't have much of a opinion about this truck race last year. Well, about this truck race, but let's take a look at last year. Who won that race? I really wish they would show you who the entry list and all that stuff on here, but no, that's right. They did not race at St. Pete last year, so this is going to be completely different. Though we can look at the road courses who won on the road. But yeah, it's gonna be very interesting. Corey, I'm not there. It's just so hard to really tell because all these guys in the truck series, it's like F3 essentially, dude. You really don't know much about it. But with that being said, let's jump over to O'Reilly series, where I really think Jesse Love's going to get that win. He's obviously running the Cup Series race this weekend, and he's obviously going to be one of the guys you have to watch out for. He's a pretty successful road course driver, and I think he's going to show up in the Cup Series, well, the Xfinity Series race, O'Reilly Series race. Over to the Cup, after we took so long looking at the trucks, trying to figure out something about it. But going back to the trucks. Actually, I it's going to be so interesting to see how these trucks handle on this track. There's nothing we can really look at to get an idea of it right now because they haven't raced there yet, other than what we're going to see here at the IndyCar highlights. But it's going to be very interesting just to see how they handle and how many wrecks there's going to be. Maybe we can get something here. I just want the layout. Anyways, skip it. Let's go over to the Cup Series. Who do I think is going to win it? Obviously, SVG. He's the guy that I think we should watch out for. And we're going to reflect my fantasy team to that. And we're going to take out Carson Hocevar at SVG. Take out Christian. Oh, no, we're not going to take out Christian Bell. We're going to take out Kyle Busch and replace him with. I don't want to use both SVG and Zilich right yet. So I'm going to go with Michael McDowell. And I'm liking keeping Priest in my garage. SVG is going to finish higher than Zilich because he's going to win the race. I got Byron over Reddick. Hopefully Reddick don't win 3 in a row. Chase Briscoe over Gibbs and Ross Chastain over Kyle Busch. And they're saying Seabell's going to win it. But yes, that's not going to happen. So let's take a look at these paint schemes for this weekend. I think this will be an interesting look. I ain't gonna really listen to. Keeping it traditional. That Ross Chastain 1 car looked pretty good. A black 3 back coming back. Wonder if Chase is racing something different. That's a nice little ride for Kyle. I like how they're running the American schemes, bro. It looks pretty dope. A lot of them are. Oh, that's dope, dude. All right. I don't like Joey at all, man. All right, William Byron. Jesse Love rocking that 33. I like how Red Bull versus Monsters back in NASCAR. Oh, here in NASCAR now. It's gonna be so interesting, dude. Love them sponsors. Love that Dollar General card too, dude. Cats, I ain't even heard some of these places, dude. The Denty, bro. I love them Red Bull cars, dude. Yeah, it's gonna be an interesting weekend at COTA. Uh, Connor Zilic and SVG are the guys we're gonna have to watch out for. Christian Bell, the winner of last year too. Uh, it's gonna be pretty cool to see what happens there this weekend. And we're gonna see obviously a different track with the trucks. We're gonna take a look at it here. Um, just it's gonna be very interesting, dude. I'm really excited to see how these trucks play out on it. But yeah, SVG's got to watch out for. Connor Zilic. Michael McDowell's another to watch out for. He's pretty successful on the road courses. I've been hyping up Chase Elliott, but he's just been underperforming. But he's also another one of the guys you got to watch out for on the road courses. NASCAR, other than last year, there's almost a different winner every week on these courses, dude. And with SVG here now, Zilic, it might just be a showout between those two. But we'll see this weekend, and we'll see if my predictions hold true, and hopefully my fantasy team reflects it. And let's dive into this IndyCar race. It's from last year. We'll watch the last few minutes.
Again, let's look at the blend. There goes Palou. Scott Dixon out between him and Joseph Newgarden.
That's huge. Palou got ahead of his teammate by making the undercut.
So
that could be the race-winning move for Alex Palou.
Scott McLaughlin, they made a couple changes in the two pit stops prior. No changes here. A little slow on the left front for the three.
Guys, Joseph Newgarden just got by Scott Dixon in turn one. They were side by side, almost banging wheels. Newgarden pounced as Dixon was trying to find tire temperature. Here it is, Joseph Newgarden up the inside of the six-time champion, Scott Dixon. Newgarden throwing muscle and a little shade to Dixon. There was almost contact. It's Penske versus Ganassi once again to start the season right here. The two best teams in the sport, undeniably, as Alex Palou looks for some slipstream, looks for the perfect run to try to get by Stingray Rob. He might just send it and go for it right here.
He does, makes the move up onto the inside. Alex Palou gets past Stingray Rob. Finally, now Newgarden has to follow suit if he wants to have any chance of contesting for this win.
And it'll be interesting to see if manufacturer politics come into play here.
Oh, it does.
It does.
Gets out the way.
Stingray Rob powered by Chevy, as is Newgarden, a Honda in the Ganassi cars of Palou and Dixon. That was some blatant interference.
Well, I don't know. He's let Dixon go through as well.
Only a handful of corners to go, only one real passing opportunity. Newgarden nowhere close enough to make it happen, but Dixon, he is trying to line something up here. This isn't over for second.
Oh,
so close.
Here he comes, up and on the inside of Joseph Newgarden. That's P2 for the six-time champion. A great move from Scott Dixon to take second place. But Alex Palou, your reigning champion, the man they all need to beat, lays down a marker on the streets of St. Pete. Alex Palou wins the opening round of the 2025 IndyCar season as Newgarden seemingly coasting to the line and apparently out.
It's gonna be cool to see how them trucks handle. I wish the I need to do it because I need to get to a full prediction for y'all. That boy Derek Johnson entered in so many times, bro. There we go. All right. I like that name, Franchetti. See, these trucks, it's like F3, so it's like I'm saying, it's hard to really know who's gonna do what because these guys are just unknown, especially with Corey Haim gone after winning down every race last year. But we got 36 cars running the trucks. All right. Just trying to find that Derek deal. I swear. But yeah, I'm going to have to go with, and it's like, throwing a wrench into a cliff and then jumping down and trying to find it in 10 seconds, trying to pick a guy in the truck series to win a race. But based off name alone, especially on a road course, I can pick it off the oval. But, damn, especially off the road courses, I'm going to have to go with either Dario Franchetti or Adam Andretti. Adam Andretti, I'm not 100% sure if he's related to Mario Andretti. Why is Adam and Eve popping up? Okay, he is. I'm going to have to rock with it. I'm not going to say he's probably going to win, but let's see his success in the trucks. Yeah, nothing. One race in the year. Oh, he raced in it. Okay, he did race in Atlanta. Just raced in Formula 3. It's gonna be interesting to see what he can do. I'm definitely gonna watch out for him, but I'm still gonna have to go with Franchetti. But yeah, I appreciate y'all sticking around. A little flustered on this truck series race because it's so new and it's gonna be interesting to see what will happen there. And I'm excited to watch it and hopefully, I'm right. Maybe not, most likely not, but we'll see. So yeah, let's watch IndyCar this weekend. Some good NASCAR racing this weekend. I'm pretty sure the Australian Supercars race this weekend as well. If y'all want to wake up early in the morning and watch that. And yeah, I'll see y'all next week with a rundown of these races and appreciate it.